Everybody at the moment is very conscious of cyber. What training would you advise if I was the managing director of a company? What would you say to me now I need to be really worried about and focusing on in training my staff to repel an attack?
I would say you need to not train them in absolutely everything. We don't need people to be security experts, but there's probably 5 behaviours that we should be looking at for most organisations. First of all, it's the source of emails. So are they malicious? Are they relevant? And what do I do to check that out? The second thing is about people on your buildings, on your sites. We've got lots of joint ventures going on, etc. Is that person supposed to be there? There are lots of ways that you can challenge them without being aggressive. We're very nice as humans, aren't we? And we always want to hold the doors open for people. The other thing is about software updates. So are people updating the software? Are they putting it off? And why should they do that? It's all right, the IT department putting a compulsory thing in for everybody to update their IT systems, but people will always find ways to circumnavigate it. Put it in as part of a regular ongoing training process. Like I say, I don't think the annual computer-based trainings work. I think we need to give people the opportunity to talk about this. Security needs to become part of the conversation that's happening when people are thinking about new suppliers, when they're thinking about new employees. How does it fit into the processes of the organisation? And the other thing is to humanise the people that sit behind the data. When we talk about security, sometimes we talk about asset registers and classifications, etc. But if we just sit down with a person and say, tell us about the people that sit behind this data. Who are they? What do they do? And if they walked into your business today and asked you, how are you protecting my data? What would you say about how it travels around your business?
There's lots of examples. Do you use case studies and look at individual breaches to get that message over?
We do look at case studies and individual. We do look at case studies and individual breaches, but sometimes just telling somebody else's story isn't as effective as helping people think about what their own story could be. One of the techniques that we use a lot is called the hacker's perspective. So we teach people about some of the social tactics that a hacker will use. Now this could be a computer hacker, but it could be anybody sort of wanting in on a company. It could be a physical reason, it could be logical. And then we ask people to identify the crown jewels in their organisation. So then they have 2 great things. They know what vulnerabilities somebody might exploit, and they know what their own crown jewels are. Then straight away they start to identify issues with their processes or gaps that they say, we need to change the way that we do that. And actually I think that's a lot more relevant than using somebody else's case study. Case studies can be used to kick things off, but really talking about what they're doing and getting people to come to the answer themselves. Some of the challenges are, well, that's taken 2 hours to do something I could have stood up there and told you in 15 minutes, but does it stick? And retention of information is really important, and people going away and actually living by those new behaviours is really important as well.
Do you find you're pushing against an open door, or is there a bit of a struggle to get this message over?
When we get into the right organisations, we're pushing against an absolutely open door. The struggle is to get through the door, but once we talk to employees on the ground, they really want to talk about it, because most people care about the organisations they work for. They're proud, they want to defend it, and when they have the opportunity to do so, they get really, really into it. We've had some great conversations with people in businesses.
Fantastic. And what sort of companies do you target? Is there any particular group or any particular sector that you specifically aim your product at?
No, absolutely not. But most of the organisations that we work with at the moment have one of 3 things they're trying to protect. They're either trying to protect financial information, or they're trying to protect personal information, or they're trying to protect intellectual property. That tends to be the three However, a really good story that I like to tell. We were at an event the other week, and a colleague of mine was telling a story, and this lady said to him, "This is all well and good, but I really don't think it's relevant to me. I'm one lady, I take photographs, I edit them on my Mac, I send them out." And we said to her, "Well, tell us about the busiest weekend you've ever had." She said, "Well, I'm a wedding photographer, so one weekend, wedding Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday." And we said, "Well, what happened if you opened your computer up on Tuesday morning and there was a ransomware message and you had to pay £500, or those people would never see the pictures of the most important day of their life?" And she suddenly went, "I'd be dead. I'd never run that business again. I probably would never run another business again." And I think the trick is really helping businesses identify what are their most important assets, what are their crown jewels, what could they not do without. You might not think a hacker would want it, but if they can get a couple of £100 off you and disrupt things, then you're game, unfortunately.